again, giving all glory and all praises and all honor to Yahweh, El Elyon, the most high power, our Father in the heavens, of heavens, beyond the heavens, outside of time. Giving praises to Yah Yahushua, our husband, our king, our high priest, after the order of Melchizedek, in the heavens, on the throne, at the altar, vying for our sins on a daily basis. And for the Malach Yahweh, which is the Holy Spirit, holy, holy, holy to the three of them. And let this be a testimony to the unity. Achad. This has been a long, debated, controversial scripture. A lot of scriptures in Isaiah. But we're going to get some understanding, not knowledge, some understanding. And I know that y'all that have been with me already got the understanding that you could not be swayed by somebody that just pick up the Hebrew word and just say, well, it don't mean this. Look at what it say. It mean that. So this whole virgin thing is a lie. Let me tell you why those that truly are searching for the everlasting love got to believe this and nothing else. I said once again that if you don't believe in the resurrection, then you believe in annihilism or reincarnation. You ain't got nowhere else to go. If you want to be non-messianic and don't believe the testimony of Yahushua, right? If you don't want to believe in his death and resurrection, then you don't believe the promise of Torah, because the non-messianics don't understand the kingdom. After they die, then what? Then what? If you come to the resurrection, why are you having a hard time believing in the resurrection? Why would Yah promise you something that is impossible for you to conceive? That's not the way Yah works. He always gives you a foreshadow, a template, and something that has happened in this world to let you believe in something firm that has manifested. Why must you believe in the virgin birth? Because then if you can't believe in this, if you think it's a fiction, then you can't believe in the creation of Adam. And you can't be born again. You can't be born again. And you are in denial of the most high power of what is possible. And you are worshiping your balls. You're worshiping man. You think by worshiping Yahushua as Elohim is worshiping man. And I'm saying by denying this, you're worshiping man. To believe that he got to come out of your balls. That Yah cannot recreate Adam through Hawa. But yet she's the mother of life. But yet that's who Satan went for, to destroy everything first. Well, if Satan went after her first, well, why wouldn't, if we got to return to where we left, if we got to undo what was did, and she was the first cause of this, y'all say she the cause, right? Y'all still blaming Mama Hawa, right? Y'all keep saying that whore, that slut, Mama Hawa. No, that's not what she did. And she was called the mother of life, all life. Then where would life come through? That's right. Well, we're going to get some understanding. Isaiah 7. Hallelujah. I say again, Israel, that my testimony is not through words and education, though Yah sent me in that way to deal with you knucklehead educated fools. He sent me with some gab because y'all a bunch of gabbers. So it takes one to know one, right? But I'm not a gabber. I could just gab the truth out of you. No, y'all see I'm not educated. That's why Hula's so conceited. She thinks she's smart. So stupid, she's smart. So smart, she's stupid. Nah, I can't speak English right. And my Hebrew is just as bad, but I know my Hebrew. I learned it in the streets. I used it. I walked it, I was talking it. And there's a mindset that comes with entering inside the language. And when you do that, you automatically learn something in the language is the idiom and the way to express things. Metaphors, idioms, sayings, parables. And the book was written in parables and dark sayings. And so was the words of Yahushua. He wrote and he spoke in dark sayings so that the wicked, the wise wicked, would never come to full understanding, no matter how much they peddle the word of Yah. But the simple would. I'm simple. I don't know nothing. But the nothing that I know. That's right. I know, y'all. I know what I'm talking about. And I can speak it. I can speak to it because it was spoken to me. The testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach, not just through words and through the prophets as well, but I reasoned. Y'all said, come, let us reason. I reasoned it and realized it has to be true. But now, since y'all want to be so slick with it, we're going to go into it. Isaiah 7, the virgin birth, fact or fiction. So when we want to talk about feelings, oh man, it's your feelings that's hurt. That life came without pleasure in you. That you don't get none. That Yahweh gets to produce life without you enjoying it. Well, who the hell are you? Oh man. Or what is your loins? So Isaiah said, can a man give birth? And when he said a man, a strong man warrior, knucklehead nickels. Can you give birth? No. They would die. All y'all do is get a little pleasure, a little lust. That's it. That's it. He don't need that. Get out the way. Let me handle this. We need to birth Yahushua. No seed was spilled, and no seed died inside of her. What was given was complete life, and it manifested as life. Y'all is Russian roulette with y'all. It's like, will it live? Will it die? How many got to come out before you produce one? No. Yahushua not wasting his time. He's not wasting his word and spilling it on dry ground. He's not going to spread his seed on the dirt. He's not going to put his seed, his word, in a defiled woman. All right. Let me show you how to swing the sword, y'all. It's time to cut the steak. All right. Where we at? So let's go to the prophecy. Let's read it. This is simple. It's not going to be a long lesson, y'all. It's real simple. They playing with one word here, one word there. Just break this down. We don't play like that. I don't just do dictionaries. Isaiah 7. Isaiah 7. The message to Ahaz starts off like this. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, the king of Judah. So Ahaz is the king of Judah. We know by this time that there was a split in the kingdom. There was the northern kingdom and there was the southern kingdom. The southern kingdom was the kingdom of Judah. The kingdom of Judah consists of Judah, Levi, and some of Benjamin. Some of Levi and some of Benjamin. And then we have the northern kingdom, which consists of the 10 tribes that is interchangeable with the kingdom of Israel or Ephraim. The other 10. Then Rezin, the king of Syria. Where's Syria today, y'all? Anybody know? Huh? Damascus. Damascus is a city in Syria. Where is that at? North. It's part of the old Assyrian Empire. Yes. And Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up towards Jerusalem to war against it. So we have the 10 northern tribes, Ephraim, the king of Israel, that have come into coalition with Rezin, the king of Syria, to go and ransack the king of Judah, Ahaz, and Jerusalem to take over. It says they went up towards Jerusalem to war against it, but could not war against it. It didn't work out for them. And it was told to the house of David. Who we talking to? When y'all says the house of David, he's just talking to one person? No, everything goes down on the books. He's talking to all the kings, past and present and future. The house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of the people, as the trees of the wood are moved with the wind. That's the parable. But it gave you the interpretation. His heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees, we are the trees, but the word, the trees of the wood means the council. The people was moved with the council, with the wind, with another spirit. They was inspired and received counsel from a false spirit. 3, then said Yahweh unto Isaiah, Yeshayahu, go forth to meet Ahaz, and share Yashub, thy son. So why would Yah now ask Isaiah to take his son with him? The word Shir Yashub actually is Sa'ar Yashuv, which means the remnant will return. Whatever it is that Isaiah is about to say, his son was the purpose, the circumstance by which the remnant will return. Thy son, and at the end of the conduit of the upper pool, in the highway of the fullest field. Now, this is cryptic. I'm not going to go into all of this. The conduit is a stream, underground stream or river flowing. At the end of it, what would that be? What's the end of the stream? A pool, but what's the end of it? Your heart. Right? In the upper pool, in the highway, there's a highway that the remnant is going to return in, and he's going to what? Take us through the rivers of still waters of the fullest fields. What's the fullest field? Where they wash their clothes with lye. No, that's the he's giving a prophecy right here that the remnant will return at the end of the conduit or the stream, in the upper pool, in the highway of washing. How do y'all say? So we talking about the fullest field. Fullest mean lie. It means fire. How do you say he was going to return us? With the washing of water and judgment like lye. We got white garments, but they need to be cleaned. We got to go through a fire and a washing of our garments. This is for the remnant that will return. That's the prophecy. And what he's about to speak is concerning that. And say unto him, take heed and be quiet. Fear not, neither be faint-hearted. For from 2 tails or stubs, Mishaneh, of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and the son of Remaliah, because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, distress it, put it through tribulation, and let us breach therein for us. Let us breach it and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tabiel. Nobody knows who Tabiel is, and no Tabiel was ever set up, and no Tabiel was ever presented, and it never happened. But I'm saying that when he's saying even the son of Tabiel, the word Tabiel, some might mean the power is good. No, Tabiel means good for nothing. Al, it's not El, a good for nothing. And y'all say ain't no good for nothing gonna sit on the throne, right? No. Thus saith Yahweh, it shall not stand. It shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. So we have the land, Syria, or the country. We have the city, Damascus, and we have the king, Rezin. And in another 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it will not be a people. Now, one, if you go back into the history, I'm not a history buff like that. Sometimes I got to go back and recount this stuff out myself too, but that's not true, because even though they were destroyed, because Ahaz wind up going to, what is this? I can't even pronounce his name, right? Of Assyria, the king of Assyria. They were trying to get ahead and do a covert thing. And so what happened was that Assyria wound up what? Coming in and taking the house of Israel and all its lands and dispersing them. They were already underneath the Assyrian authority. So was Rezin. And so they wanted to buck that authority, but it wound up backfiring. But it didn't happen 65 years later. It happened somewhere maybe 20, 30 years later. So what is this prophecy? Ephraim most certainly was broken, that we would not be a people. The Assyrian Empire came and took us somewhere around 735 BC to 740. This prophecy came around somewhere around that time too. Maybe 720. I don't got all the numbers, somewhere around right, but it wasn't 65 years. It happened way before that. Maximum 20, 30 years. So where's the 65 years? I can't tell you. Yah hasn't revealed it, but it's due. And in another 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, that it will not be a people. We were scattered, sent out. And the head of Ephraim is Samaria, and the head of Samaria is Remaliah's son. And if you will not believe, if you won't believe that what I'm saying, if you cannot believe this, because I'm gonna need your faith, surely you will not be established, confirmed, or instructed. All right. Now we get to 10. And adding more, Ve Yosef. There's a clue. Ve Yosef. Yosef is another term, what? For what? And he will gather. The gather. Yosef is another word for the remnant that's going to exit out of bondage. Yosef is another word for the whole house of Israel, Judah and Israel, remnant that will be gathered in the end, and he will gather. But Yosef, and adding more, but it really means that he will gather. Yahweh spake unto Ahaz, saying, so whatever that prophecy was, is, or was to come, or will be, whether it happened or not, according to the word, Yah said, and moreover, I have something else to say to you. Ask of yourself a sign from within, or together with Yahweh. Watch. Y'all can read a little bit of Hebrew. She'al lecha. Ask for yourself. Ot. A sign. Me'im. Me'im. From with Yahweh. Or together. Or within Yahweh. That is not ask of a sign of Yahweh. From Yahweh. If it was just going to say from Yahweh, it would have just mean meh, or mo, or me. But he said me'im. The word im as an ayin means with. Well, who was with Yahweh? You hear me? Y'all see it? Make it make sense. Me'im Yahweh. I know Hebrew. Right? They'll simplify these prepositions and adverbs. No, it says, Sha'al lecha. Oh, ask for yourself. Ask you a sign from with Yahweh. your power. Whatever that sign is, it's Yahweh doing it. It's a miracle direct from within Yah. Y'all see it? So when we get, he said, in the beginning was the word, and the word was Yah, and the word was with Yah, and the same was the word. We see it right here. Let's ask for a sign from within. Me'in. Y'all are learning Hebrew, right? Y'all know that just don't mean meh. Y'all learn what from means, right? Y'all learn in, right? E means what? With. Meh means what? From with Yahweh. What's with Yahweh that you can ask a sign of? All right. Ha'emek, right? The depths. Sha'Allah, ask of the depth. Hagabea, and the height. Lema'ela, from the height. Oh, well, we know who has went deep. Who has went down? Who came back up to the height? From the highest height, the height above. I'm about to show you that the height above is from the great high heaven. Who's there? That's the throne of Yah. Who went down into the depths? Ask about it. What are we talking about? You see what I'm saying? Who making it up? The white Catholics? Oh, that's smart to go in Yah's word and pick out something so deep. Something so high. And they just made up and just gave you a white man? No, y'all. No, y'all. Come on, we're going to get this. This is just the beginning. This is the word of Yah. This is how you go in. Ask. Who has gone down? Who has gone up? Even the word is nigh in your mouth. And that word is what? Yahushua. All right. But Ahaz said, I will not ask. But Ahaz, what, I think I only put part of it in there. But Ahaz said, I will not ask. Neither will I tempt or test Yahweh. He understood what Yah had asked. Whatever, if he had asked, that would have been asked Yah to prove yourself to me. Whatever he could have asked, he said, ask me for the deep and the low. He's asking something that's almost impossible for him to comprehend. Didn't we see that in Job? Oh, Job, who the hell are you to question me? Can you number the stars? Do you know the heavens of heavens? Do you know what's underneath? You gonna ask me about things on earth? Yahushua said, can a man be born again? Well, how can I explain to you the things in heaven if you can't understand the things in earth? So to ask a question like that, to ask Yah to give me a mystery of the highest heaven, give me a mystery of the lowest depth, is to ask something that's almost incomprehensible for you to understand. And you asking Yah, prove yourself to me. Let me see a miracle that I cannot conceive. You hear what I'm saying? Show me something that I cannot conceive. Whether it be here in that head or in that head. He said, I did not talk to you that way, y'all. I did not ask you. I'm not going to test you, because to do that would be trickery to y'all. The mentality that you got to ask a question of an impossible thing that Yah would be like, it would be a challenge. It would be like saying, you can't do that. Whatever he's asking, you can't do that. Show it to me. And he said, here, y'all. Now, Wayomer, Shme'u. What is that word? Is he just talking to Ahab? Shme'u. When you have the U at the end, that's a what? Y'all. Who's he talking? You all. Is he just talking to Ahab? No, he's talking to what? All the kings. I'm sorry, Ahaz. He's not just talking to Ahaz. He's talking to the whole house of David. Every king that's going to sit on the throne from the loins of David. Y'all, hear y'all. So it's a testimony for every king that's going to come. Hear what I'm about to say. Oh, kings of David. Nah. Beit David. Oh, please, house of David. Y'all, all the kings. Hame'at. Me'at means a little bit, from the littlest. Hame'at mechem, from the least of y'all, from the smallest of y'all. House of David, kings that have sat. Haleot, anashim ki tal'u gam et Elohei. What does it mean? It says from the least, from y'all. Mechem means what? Not talking to Ahaz by himself. He's talking to the whole kingship. Y'all of the wearying or exhausting of people. You have wearied the people. But that was the prophecy. Y'all want a king? Y'all know what the king gonna do, right? He said, I gave you a king. Right? I gave you a king in my anger. And I took away a king in my wrath. Y'all didn't want him though. Y'all asked for a king. And I'm gonna tell you what he's gonna do. He's gonna weary the hell out of y'all. He's gonna take all your horses, your women, your gold, your money, war, all of this. Trying to set up and establish what? My everlasting kingdom. But what they won't do is do what? Repent and return to me. And so because you have wearied, you have exhausted the people. You've depleted them. Because you will weary you all, right? Y'all ta'alu gam, also will I weary you, the almighty power. Right? Because you're going to, by wearing the people, you are wearing out the almighty power, the most high Yah, et Elohei, the real power. Automatically, he's saying, yeah, I got something for y'all. Y'all think y'all the throne? Y'all know the prophecy about the loins of David, the seed of David? I got something for y'all, thinking y'all the King of Kings. All right. Therefore, and because y'all have done this, I can't count on you because you have not done what I've asked for the people, bring deliverance, salvation, so that I may reign through you as an everlasting kingdom. Because you have done this, you've done this to me too. You're wearing me out. Because when I gave a king, it was purposed, and you purposed it for yourself. Therefore, because you have done this, O house of David, not just Ahaz, because you have done this, because y'all have done this. Therefore, will I give Elohim himself, or therefore, will I himself shall give you. Let's see what the word says. Lachen. Therefore, yitain, he will give Elohim who? He will give Elohim who? Who's the who? Himself. The what you asked, the with him. The who that is with him. Right? Let's see. He asked again, right? The who is ask yourself of a sign from within together with Yahweh. Me'im Yahweh. That's the who. That's the who, y'all. Elohim who? That doesn't say ask. I'm going to show you a sign from Yahweh. No, it means he will give Elohim himself to you all as a sign. Who? To the house of David. He himself shall give. Himself shall give. However you want to slice it up. He himself shall give y'all, lechem, all the kings that sit on the throne, a sign. What is the sign? So whatever before we get to the prophecy about what the sign is, whatever the sign is, y'all, you know it got to be something darn near impossible. Right? That's the whole conversation we having. They want to diminish this to some what? Ahaz? Whatever this sign is, it's an impossible thought to conceive. Incomprehensible things, unexplainable things to conceive. But I can conceive it. Hallelujah. That's right. He said, I'll go back and check me. I ain't playing. This is the sign. This is the sign from within me. This is, I give myself, he, the sign. A virgin. Now, that don't say virgin. The word for virgin is BETULAH. Who you think you're talking to? Who you think you're talking to? You think I don't know Hebrew? I ain't just, even though I'm going to show you the Strongs, I'm going to smack you in the face with the book y'all think y'all can read. But I knew the word from before I ever looked in the book. I got a testimony. I got proof right here. The word here is hine, ha'almah. Ha'almah. Hara, shall conceive or be pregnant. And birth, where ye led it, and birth ben, a son. Vekarat, and y'all, you will call Shmo, his name, Imanu, with us now. From Yahweh with him. Now it's with us and the power. Where's the miracle in this? If it's not a virgin, where's the miracle? It's not a miracle for a man to have power. Moshe was an elf. Where's the miracle? There's nothing a miracle about somebody who's not a virgin having sex with a man, conceiving pregnant a son, and Yah called out in his name, his character, that he would have the power of El, because Moshe was that. Where's the miracle? Elijah was that. Where's the miracle? Make it make sense. Inconceivable. You can't birth this. I will though. We're going to get to who we birth. What's the sign from Yahweh, from within him, from with him, that we or she is going to birth? Because this is dual prophecy about the bride of Yahushua. Okay. So y'all be like, prove this. Once I prove this, that's really the end of the game. But we're going to go deep. Ha'alma. Y'all say it don't mean virgin. Y'all say it means young lady. Maiden. That's what y'all say it mean. Now, before I go into the dictionaries to show y'all don't know what y'all talking about, and to prove this, the first time I was in Israel and I heard this word used for someone's name. Abiyah. You was with me when we went down to Ayanot and we met the teenagers counselor, the Ethiopian girl with the long hair. She had two babies. She had a son and a daughter. Do you remember her name? I can't remember her name. Batel was her name. She was in her 30s. And we came to talk to her, broken Ethiopian. She had a cute little son. They was bad as hell, a little demon, and a cute little daughter. And I said, what's his name? I don't remember his name. And then she introduced me to the daughter. Do you remember what her name was? Alma. Remember? Do you remember the occasion when I was like, her name is Alma? I recognized the word. Yes, I said, her name is Alma. She was like, yes, this is a special name. I said, what does it mean? It means like she's holy. She's holy. She's special. Right? I was like, interesting. Well, why would somebody name they girl. Well, that's stupid. What kind of name is that, girl? What's your mama name you, girl? What's your mama name you, young lady? What's your mama name you, maiden? That don't make no sense. Her name was Alma. And when I asked her what it means, it's really special. It means like holy, special. And she kind of she looked up and was like, special. I said, I understand. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. All right, let's see. She used the word kadosh, holy. Okay, all right. Well, when a girl is going to go into marriage, she's put aside in the veil and she's not, what is that called? She's kept for a while and put a veil. She's not to be seen by any men and her husband for a while. And that is called, she is in what? Mikodeshet. It's the time right before the marriage where she's being purified. Mikodeshet. In the engagement. All right. The power is with us. That's right, girl. Butter and honey he will eat, that he may know himself to refuse the evil and choose the good. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, right? Before, he's saying that he has to learn just like us. That's what he claimed, right? That he had to learn through obedience like men. The land that thou abhorrest, right, shall be forsaken of both her kings. Okay, this is how it translates. The land that you are ended, distressed, or cut off, because due to two of her kings, you will forsake, stop, te'azev ha'adama asher ata kaitz, mipnei shnei melecheya. The Adamah, the land of milk and honey, your everlasting promise of life. The kingdom. Who's forsaken? Yahushua. He was the second what? Adam. Ha'adamah. You will forsake the land, share, in which that atakatz. It says here abhorred, forsaken, no, abhorred, but the word katz means ended, distress, cut off. What is it prophesied? Because you have forsaken Yahushua, you're going to be forsaken. It's going to be your end. That's where we at now, right? Israel. Now, we didn't have two kings then. Who two kings? Huh? Because this is, no, this is about Yahushua. Yeah. So in the time of Yahushua, there was two kings. Two kings. Who was the two kings? King Herod was the king of Judah. He's talking to the house of Judah. And who was the other king? No. Caesar. Caesar. We had two kings at that time. And they allowed y'all to help forsake him. Now, at that time, they had all of Assyria. They had conquered this, the Roman Empire, y'all, the Greco-Roman Empire. They had all of Assyria. They had everything. We had two kings, and that was when he was cut off, and it was due to them. It was due to them and us because we forsook him, the land, not Jerusalem, the land, because y'all said, because you have forsaken me in your sins, I will forsake you. The land, actually, the actual Jerusalem is a side effect. But no, you forsake Ha'adamah. You have forsaken the blood man, the Adam. All right. So let's get to it. The virgin. Y'all say that Alma does not mean virgin. Alma versus Betulah. Well, I'm here to tell you that in the physical, they both mean the same thing. A young woman, maiden, and virgin. But Alma is very specific about the mind of the virgin, the purity of the virgin. You can be a Betulah, and yet you can still fornicate, right? You can be a Betulah and be a whore. That's right. Physically, you can be a Betulah, but your mind is full of perverseness and fornication and pornography and doing every other thing. That's what a Betulah is. You can be a Betulah and be a nasty whore. But an Alma is different. It's different, y'all. This is different. Let's see why. Alma, I'm going to say it again. A young woman, every young woman in Israel, before she's married, is supposed to be a virgin. That's duh. But every young woman don't find the grace and the mercy of Yahweh just because they're virgins. That don't mean they're clean. That don't mean they're not rebellious, disobedient, nasty, temptress, a seductress. That's called what? A tease. You still prostituting. A virgin, strong, exhaustive concordance, damsel, maid, virgin, feminine of Elim, which is the male. Alas, as veiled or private. These are dedicated young people. These are people that are walking in the faith of the law and have kept themselves veiled, private, in the world, but not of it. Not polluted from what their eyes see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, eat no evil, and don't let no evil enter inside you. This is what this means. Alma is a purified version from within and without. She's pure in her mind of the matrix. She's pure in her womb of the matrix, and she's pure in her body. That's what Alma means. She's dedicated. In the sense, this is where the whole nunnery type mentality has come from. When you understand this Alma and the word, how it's being used, and you can understand when we get into Corinthians, why Paul and Yehoshua teaches be Alma. For the kingdom's sake. All right. Alma, from Alam. The root of the word Alma comes from Alam, properly, something kept out of sight. What's the testimony of Mary? She was kept in the temple and dedicated, right? Because she also was the firstborn child after a vow, because her parents could not conceive. And so when you make a vow to dedicate the child, then it goes and does what? It is kept and to serve Yah. Women also was dedicated firstborn children. And when they was, usually at the age of 3, when they are weaned from the parents, they go and serve in the temple. That's the story of Mary. From the age of 3, she served until she became a young maiden, when she was now ready to become engaged for marriage. They don't stay in the temple once they what? They blossom. They blossom. When they get their period, they can no longer live inside the temple. They can still work with in and out when they're clean, but they can't be in that space anymore. Women was dedicated for a certain amount of time and then handed over for marriage. Compared to almah, i.e. a lad, young man, stripling. Alam, to conceal, secret, veiled, kept, hidden, a mystery. We understand now what almah means, why she had to be an almah and not a betulah. Oh, it was expressing something about Mary birthing Yahushua, that the daughter of Zion must come to be in order to birth Yahushua. Alma, let's see some other versions, breakdowns, conjugations of this word. Alum, hidden, unknown. So when she said, I'm not known, I've not known any man, she's saying, I've been hidden. No man has seen me, touched me. Y'all know. I have no knowledge of a man, and no man has knowledge of me. Unknown, I've been hidden, kept, preserved. Ilum means concealment. And it breaks out from the word olam. Y'all know that word, right? Which means world, universe, eternity, hidden. To alumah, mystery. We're going to get this. Why? Universe, world, eternity. Well, isn't the bride supposed to be a alma, olam, le olamid? Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see how this word is typically used. In Genesis 24 and 42, I came this day to the spring and said, Yahweh, the Elohim of my master Abraham, if now you prosper my way, which I go, behold, I am standing by the spring of water. We know what we're talking about here? This is when Abraham sent his servant to go find a bride. Well, obviously she would be a what? A virgin, but any old kind of virgin? No. We know who this was. Who was this? Rachel. She was a righteous kept woman. I'm sorry, Rebecca. She was a righteous kept woman. Behold, I'm standing by the spring of water. All of this is foreshadow. I'm going to prove it in the rest of the prophecy. She's standing, this Alma is standing by the spring of waters. Let it happen. The maiden, the virgin, the young virgin, we're looking for someone proper for marriage. Who comes forth to draw, to whom I will say, please give me a little water from your pitcher to drink. And she will tell me, drink. And I will also draw for your camels. You don't see the similitude of Yahushua's story when he went? And she said, where your husband at? How many husbands you got? You got, was it 5 and 6? Something like that. You got 5, and yea, the 6th one is not. Woman, if you knew who I was, you would have asked me for water. Watch me make this make sense. I just showed you the prophecy about come to the end of the spring and the highway at the fullest. Okay. All right. I'm just philosophizing. Okay. All right. I'm midrashing over here. Now this is what y'all revealed. I searched out from the spirit of the matter. Let it happen when the maiden comes forth to draw, to whom I will say, please give me little water from your pitcher to drink. And she will tell me, drink, and I will also draw for your camels. That's a servant woman. That's a woman that's going to serve. Let her be the woman whom Yahweh has appointed for my master's son. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about here? Isaac. And in thy seed. I was looking for that one. And so if he was looking for that one, He just looking for some young lady? Oh, he was looking for a special young lady. And Yah appointed this one. Would Yah appoint a whore? No. No way, y'all. This is the blessing from Yah. You think this just means young lady? Okay. This ain't no Betulah. This is an Almah. She's an Almah, y'all. All right. Before I finish speaking in my heart, behold, Rebecca came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder. Hallelujah. Almah. Psalms 46. Yeah, I went through them all. Psalms 46, starting at 1. To the chief musician, a song of the sons of Korah on the virgins, the maidens, the alamot. Elohim is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. All right. So now we know that David, being priest king, he set up priests to what? Sing, the musicians to do what? Play harps, flute, lyre, all of that in the temple. Well, who's the alamot? Would he set up singing whores? These were the musicians with the sons of Korah on the virgins. How about them and on them? But I'm going to show you that the women sang with them too to set them up. They played the tambourines and they sang the songs like we're doing here. These were women that served in the temple. They were just Betulah? No, they were Almot, just like Mary was, served in the temple. And Elohim, our refuge. But this is a song for them. Look at the song. What's the Almah? Young lady? Elohim is our refuge and strength, a very pleasant help in trouble. Who's going to be in the time of trouble? The woman ready to give birth to Yahushua. That woman is an Almah. Therefore, we won't be afraid, though the earth changes. What are we talking about here? Though the mountains are shaken into the heart of the sea. What did I say? There's going to be an earthquake in the sea, y'all. And the earth is going to shake. That's our cue. When Yah is going to present help in the time of our trouble, we fleeing all the way to the what? To the sea, y'all. Though its waters roar and are troubled, though the mountains tremble with their swelling, Selah, where we at? In the air? We poofed up. Now he's saying, though this is happening, because the righteous are going to understand this, there is a river. You see the prophecy that I just read in Isaiah? There is a river, the streams of which make the city of Elohim glad. That river is the highway, and I will split the wadis of Egypt into 7 streams. For what? 7 daughters, 7 assemblies. The holy place of the tents of the Most High. Those that dwell in the Shekinah, the glory of the Most High. Elohim is in her midst. She shall not be moved, but the her is the Almot. What are we talking about? Some young woman? Messiah just gonna marry a young woman. But according to Torah, can a priest just marry some young woman? What's the law of a priest marrying a woman? She must be what? A pure virgin. She got to be the daughter of a priest. In fact, that means she's a priestess. A pure virgin. That's why the daughter of a priest gets a worse judgment than another daughter. Because she's supposed to be Almah, kept. The daughter of a priest gets what when she plays the whore? Burnt with fire. This ain't no joke. Somebody's just some young lady, just be young lady. Elohim is in her midst. She shall not be moved. Elohim will help her at dawn. Y'all know that's when the sun go down. That's when the darkness comes, y'all. That's the last day. And the nations will be raged. The kingdoms were moved. He lifted his voice and the earth melted. This is prophetical for the almot, not for the warriors, for the virgins, for the pure virgins. That's right. Hallelujah. It's starting to make some sense. Exodus 2:8, Miriam. Moshe's sister was called an Almah. She was a prophetess. What was the age difference between Moshe and Miriam? I forget. She was like something like 14, 15. When she delivered, she was the one that gave the prophecy to her parents, according to the testimony, that he was going to be the deliverer. She was called an Almah. Well, if she was a whore, she couldn't be an Almah. She must have been dedicated, separated, put aside, and kept. Proverbs 30, there were 3 things which are too amazing for me, 4 which I don't understand. The way of an eagle in the air, how they fly, how they just so. The way of a serpent on a rock, it means on the cleft. Y'all know what it's saying, right? When it goes over and it don't fall through gravity. He's saying, I don't understand gravity, how the serpent just slithers down and don't fall off. The way of a ship in the heart of the sea, in the midst of the sea, right? How does it navigate itself? Right? There's a mystery to him. And the way of a warrior, the word is gever, a man with a maiden. Could he be talking about, what is he talking about? There's got to be a virgin, because why is this incomprehensible? What is he not understanding? The way of a warrior with a maiden. Well, this man, this warrior, he's full of testosterone. Well, we know the law about a warrior when he sees a beautiful woman in a house. So Yah has done something because his heart. What does he really want from the woman when, right? When the warrior comes to war, he sees the damsel, right? She's obviously a virgin. And he says, she's a virgin. She has not known man. This is the Almah. This is the word here. This is in the law. It may use BETULAH one here, but it's talking about an Almah. He's in lust with her. And really all he wants is to do what? And so his way of dealing with her is in what? The self-deception first, but deceiving her. He don't understand this. It ain't right. The way a man, right? Because he's aggressive. He's acting like an animal. She's kept. I don't understand why you want to take somebody's purity. Like, why would you do? Why y'all want to do that? Why y'all want to conquer the woman? I don't understand that. This manner in how y'all deal with the almot, the dedicated, the ones that's supposed to be pure, put aside, kept. Why? How y'all deal with y'all women like this? I don't understand it. No, he's not just talking about a young lady. He's talking about a virgin, someone who's pure. Why would you want to do that, oh warrior, and put your blood all over her? So is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I have done nothing wrong. So the warrior has an adulterous spirit. Say, what would I do? I love her. Right? She fine. His manner, his deceptiveness with her. And how he did, y'all know how it is when y'all want somebody, y'all whispering and y'all telling her lies or whatever. This ain't right. Why you want to do that? You over here talking about what I do. I didn't do nothing. I just told her she was beautiful. But we see when our daughters are looking, right, to be validated with words, how they become what? Easy. And y'all know it. That's you trying to conquer somebody. This also implies rape. 1 Samuel 17 and 55, 56. What are we talking about? Just some young lady? It knows how a warrior is with a whore. No, he understands that. But this, why would you want to do that to a maiden, an Almah? This is a beast-like nature. 1 Samuel 17 and 55, 56. And when Saul saw David go forth against the Philistine, he said unto Abner, the captain of the host, Abner, whose son is this? Hana'ar, youth. So this is another word for young lady, Hana'ar. Hana'ar does not imply a sanctified person. It does not imply he's a virgin. That word is simply the young man or the young lady with no implication. Betulah does not imply young maiden because an older woman could be a betulah. A 50-year-old woman could be a betulah. A 3-year-old should be a betulah. A 70-year-old can be a betulah. So these words are very distinct on what they are saying and not saying. And so when you want to say a young lady, the word is na'ara, not almah. And Abner said, as thy soul liveth, O king, I could not tell. The king said, find out who the son, this young man, Ha-Alem, is. This was David, who was anointed. That was who Saul had brought into his house to play the harp, and then he tended to his sheep, went back and forth to serve David. But no, this is a virgin, y'all. He's kept. David is kept. He was preserved and he was kept for to be anointed as king and a conduit for Yahushua's spirit and promised to dwell for an everlasting kingdom. The Alem. David was no whoremonger running around. He was not some young boy doing the world. He was about his father's business. He tended the sheep and he played the music for the king. And now he was coming to fight on behalf of Yah like a warrior, but with faith. Psalm 68, 25. And the singers went before, the minstrels follow after, and in the midst of the ladies, the almot, playing with tambourines. This is what? This is where? Bless Elohim in the congregation, even Yahweh in the assembly of Israel. Is a whore allowed in the assembly of Yahweh? No. The word ladies here is almah. Ain't no other, any kind of lady ain't supposed to be playing music. If you are, you are singing, dancing whore. He said, I'm gonna turn your women into singing, dancing whores. If they don't want to remain pure for me, kept almah, then I'm gonna turn them into singing, dancing whores. This is in the congregation, the assembly of Yah. This ain't no just young ladies, any old young ladies. 1 Chronicles 15 and 20, and Zechariah and Aziel and Shimrot and Jahiel and Uni and Eliab and Maaseiah and Benaiah with psalteries besides the almot. So you can see that when David also set up the singers, there were women singing. Where did it start from? Miriam and her tambourine. She was a prophetess with the Holy Spirit. She was a kept woman. As far as I know, Miriam was never married. You couldn't call her Jess, no Betulah, at 90-something years old. Y'all know how old she was, right? But as far as I know, she was an almah all her life. Okay. So yes, when you just want to say young girl maiden as in just a girl, na'ara, a girl from infancy to adolescent, a damsel maiden, young woman, and for the men is na'ar, a boy, lad, youth, retainer. That's the word. Almah is not that. Because you can have an almah, once again, like I said, at any age. What is it implying? It does not mean young lady. So we go into the New Testament. 2 Corinthians 11. For I am jealous over you. This is Paul talking. I am jealous over you with the jealousy of Elohim. Well, why would Elohim be jealous? What is jealousy spawned from? For somebody looking at your wife, or your wife looking at somebody else, or your wife going after somebody else, or your wife having a love affair with somebody else, or your wife fornicating with, or your wife playing around with somebody else, or your wife falling in love with, or worshiping or serving somebody else. Y'all's jealous. And so Paul is expressing his jealousy on behalf of Yahweh for you. But what is this jealousy about? For I have betrothed you, the assemblies, as a pure virgin to one man, to present to the Messiah. Now, this is in Greek. Pure virgin. We got two words here. How we express that? Betulah. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see. Let's see. Chaste virgin. Two words. I want to present you as a chaste virgin. If he just wanted to say betulah, you can remove out the other one. The chaste version is almah. The virgin is a betulah. Not the same. Because no man still, at the end of the day, want to find out that a bunch of men done kissed his woman before he did. That a bunch of men done saw his bride naked before he did. That a bunch of men done felt up on his wife before he did. That a bunch of men has put his hands all over his wife before he did. No man wants that. In his eyes, you a hoe. You're not a chaste virgin. You're not an almah. You're not pure. You're nasty. Your mind is corrupted. So is your body. 2 Corinthians 11, a chaste virgin. So we're going to look up the word virgin first. Parthenos. In Greek, there's only one word. There's only one word for virgin. So he had to add another word. Maiden or virgin. Usage, a maiden, a virgin, extended to men who have not known women. So this is also for men keeping themselves. So the whole is when we get to the 144 virgins that have not known women, we're not talking about just sex though, watch. So he's trying to present an assembly that is kept properly, a virgin, a woman who has never had sexual relations, a female virgin beyond puberty, but not yet married. Figuratively, believers when they are pure or chaste, i.e. faithful to Messiah, their heavenly bridegroom. We're going to read Revelation 14. Continuing on, Parthenos, a maiden virgin. Not going to read all of that. From Homer's down, the Septuagint chiefly for, meaning that in the Septuagint, it would normally use the word for virgin, betulah, several times, for na'ara, twice, for almah. What are we talking about here? So it's saying that the word almah or virgin betulah is interchanged from na'ara to almah. Either a marriageable maiden, virgin, or a young married woman. Of a young bride, newly married woman, one's marriageable daughter, a pure virgin. A man who has abstained from all uncleanliness and whoredom, attended on idolatry. So when we say almah, virgin, we're not just talking about whoredom, we're talking about being holy. And so has kept his chastity. In Ecclesiastes writing, one who has never had commerce with women. That's how the whole of Babylon is described. For all of the nations have what? Fornicated with her. What's the fornication? They got rich when she sold her goods. Right? Please. Go ahead. It's not on. Well, go ahead, ask the question. It's all of that. But you can't just say, because they're trying to say it means that you have not went to another church, right? It's Yahushua's doctrine or nothing else, right? Either you walking in the truth of the purity of a chaste version to Messiah. To anybody else, yeah, you walk in somebody else's doctrine, idolatry, but Messiah's doctrine is not about what? The way we do commerce in Babylon. The law does not allow us to do business the way Babylon has done business and to become rich the way she has done business. Strong is also concordance, virgin of unknown origin, a maiden, by implication, an unmarried daughter, virgin. So the word for chaste, watch this, haginos, free from ceremonial defilement, holy and sacred. So because they don't have one word, they don't have a word, they have one word for virgin and they don't have the other word for almah. He put two words together to get you to understand that he's talking about an almah, not a betulah. Chaste virgin. You can be virgin and not chaste. We call them fast behinds. You're too frisky and fast for your grown behind. You know too damn much. You done experienced too much. You done seen too much. You done heard too much. Haginos, free from ceremonial, holy, sacred usage, originally in a condition prepared for worship, pure, either ethically or ritually, ceremonially chaste. 53, from haginos, an adjective which may be cognate with hagios, holy, properly pure to the core. That's an almah. That's what Miriam had to be the birth, Yahushua. Virginal, chaste, unadulterated, untainted, pure inside and out. Holy because uncontaminated, undefiled from sin. We're going to see that in the testimony of Mary, why she was chosen. It wasn't just because she was a young maiden. She was a betulah and she was an almah. And it's going to tell you that. I.e., without spoilation, even within, even down to the center of one's being, not mixed with guilt or anything condemnable. From the same as hagios, one, exciting reverence, venerable, sacred. Two, pure from carnality, chaste, modest, an unsullied virgin, no dirt on it. Pure from every fault, immaculate conception. Hagios, sacred and holy. That's what almah means. And that's the testimony from the beginning to the end. And I wouldn't have my Messiah, the Elohim that wanted to put himself and bring himself through his creation for a kinsman redeemer, be born of anything else. If I can concede that he was born of a man who is not sinless, through sex, through spilling his seed, which is death, not, he's tainted. The idea of Messiah being Elohim brought untainted would be messed up. And therefore the woman has to be such. And so is the conceivement has to be such. Without fornication, without sexual immorality, without a dirty mind, without being touched by another man. Because if Messiah had to come through you, it's not pure. It's not pure. Your Y DNA can't match his Wawa. Why, oh, why would he come through your defiled Y? Why? But a priest can marry a pure, set aside Almah. All right. The parable of the 10 virgins. And the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. Who's the bridegroom? Yahushua. 5 of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise. So you see, we can have foolish virgins and we can have 5 wise ones. Those who were foolish, when they took their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Now, while the bridegroom delayed, they all slumbered and slept. For at midnight, there was a cry, behold, the bridegroom is coming, come out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps is going out. But the wise answered, saying, what if there isn't enough for us and you? Go you rather to those that sell and buy for yourselves. While they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast. And the door was shut. We know this is the marriage chamber. Afterwards, the other virgins also came. So we can see that there's a difference between a BETULAH and an ALMAH. It wasn't enough to be a BETULAH. Master, open to us. And he answered, most certainly I tell you, I don't know you. I don't know you. Somebody else know you. You might be a virgin, but I don't know you. Something's not right. Watch therefore, for you don't know the day nor the hour in which the Son of Man is coming. What they're watching is called repentance. They truly didn't repent. Now, I go through the whole parable. I go through the whole explanation of that whole parable. This is not about marrying physically 10 women. Yehoshua is not giving a parable that it's okay to marry 10 women. The 10 is dark parabolic saying for those that keep what? The 10 commandments. Now, I'm not going to go through what it all means. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the description box, queued up to the lessons that I taught before on explaining the 10 virgins and what it means. So let me show you right now. Give me a second. All right. So like I said, I'm not into explaining myself over and over and over. That's Satan trying to wear me out. It's all there for y'all to listen to it over and over and over. So if y'all, there's more to this, go back when I go into the 10 virgins, right? And the 144. What does that mean? What does that mean? The 144,000 that have not known man. So this is the lesson part 2, a place prepared for you. No rapture, no wings. Go back to that. I queued it up. It is at times 4:30:20 that I go into explaining a dirty heart and mind, the heart of a whore. That the word virgin in this sense is depicting a clean heart and a clean mind. All right. And then hold on. In my lesson, has Yahweh magnified his word above his name? His name doesn't matter if you keep the commandments. This is me explaining the 10 virgins. At times 51:49. Go back to that and refer to it. Stop the video and go back and refer to that, and you will have complete understanding as I'm moving forward, because I'm not going to do it again. All right? Queued it up for you. Y'all need to go back and listen to the first message and progress on. All right. Continuing on. All right, I'm back in. Okay. So just to give you a brief, where are we getting this from? Right? He talked about the five. But the 10 represents the fact that these are people that keep the 10 commandments. And I prove it that they all had lamps. 10 had lamps. That means the word of Yah. They kept the commandments, the 10 commandments of Yah. They had the word. For your word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path. But they had no oil. They had a wick. It had a little fire, meaning some inspiration of the Holy Spirit, but they was not what? Purified in heart. They was not, the Holy Spirit did not rest on them. This is where y'all getting confused, because the Holy Spirit can touch you, inspire you, doesn't mean you have it. Because it has to purify what? Your consciousness in and in. So we got 5 and 5, which represents 10 as those that keep the word. They all had, but what separated them was the fact that they took no oil in their lamps. So you go back and see if I didn't prove that to be the truth. Now that y'all have gone back and watched me, y'all should understand what I'm saying now about the bridegroom. The door was shut. They took no oil in their lamps. But for those of you that's too lazy to do it and they all just kind of scoffing through me, I'm going to give you the quick answer. From the old, Songs of Solomon, the bride confesses her love. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's beloved. What's the term beloved? Dawid or Dudi, Dodi or Dudi, right? But that is a short term for Dawid. Either the vowel, because it has the E at the end, now becomes a consonant or a vowel, but it's the same word, my beloved. Who's that? Yahushua. I know he's not talking to his daddy. Oh, well, yes, he is, actually. Okay. Let him kiss me. Let him kiss me. But we know this is about the bride. But that ain't determined here. Right? They said the bride confesses love. How we know we talk? What bride? Okay. What bride would that be? Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. What would be the kisses of his mouth? The word of Yah. When Yah spoke, what went out? The word. For your love is better than wine. What's the wine? The blood of Yahushua, right? This love is no greater love than that a man what? Lay down his life for his brethren. But even before brethren, for your wife. The brethren is his wife. That's the love. The kisses of his mouth is the word. The laying down his blood is the love, the greatest love. For the fragrance, the smell comes from the word ruach of your oils are good oil. Your name is oiled, poured forth. Therefore, the almot love you. The virgins. Oh, not the young ladies. Yahushua ain't marrying no whores. This is an almot, a kept, chaste virgin, bride of Messiah. All right. Now, I had told y'all that the word alam comes from the word what? Olam, alam, ages, worlds, existence, forever, eternal. Why? Well, what's the bride at the end of the day? Huh? Yeah, but what is that? What is that? Yeah, but what is that? I go up to prepare but what's that place? I bring it down. What is the place that he's going to bring back down? Yeah, but what is that? All right, we get to it. I don't want to give it away. Chase version, Revelations 14:4. And I saw and behold the Lamb standing on the mountain, and with him a number. Who's the Lamb? Yahushua. Standing on Mount Zion. And with him a number, 144,000, having his name and the name of his Father written on their foreheads. I heard the sound from heaven like the sound of many waters, and like the sound of great thunder. And the sound which I heard was like that of harpists playing on their harps. Look at the prophecies about those playing on the harps. I go through it also in No Rapture, No Wings, the 144. Go back. They sang a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures of the elders and the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000. Those who had been redeemed out of the earth. And I go back saying that this is not of the dead. This is of the living. I prove it. Go back to No Rapture, No Wings, part 2 of the 144,000 virgins. And I prove that redeemed out of the earth does not mean those that were underneath the earth of the dead. Excuse me. We got fools like Huldah and knucklehead nigger Bruce. That's where this is just men. This don't make no sense. So Yahushua only redeemed men? These are those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. So you mean it's only men following him? I thought he asked the whole nation. Sorry. Redeemed from the earth. 4. These are those who were not defiled with or among women. I go back and prove that this doesn't mean just men who had a sexual relationship with a woman, that a male virgin. This is about Adam, humankind, the bride. They are virgins. As we already see in the Greek, the word virgin, depending on the usage, could be alma, na'ara, or betulah. These are those who follow the Lamb, but I go back into this word, not defiled. This word defiled means holy, chaste, set apart from the uncleanliness of the world. That's what we just read. Chaste, not just a virgin, but they are not defiled with the way of a whore. These are those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed, purchased by Yahushua out from among men, Adam. It's not man, it's human. The word is humankind. It's not depicting a gender here. The first fruits. I go back and No Rapture, No Wings to show that first fruits does not just mean the first that raised from the living, from the dead, the actual dead from underneath the earth, but the first fruits also represent those that died while they was alive to the flesh and was born again by the Holy Spirit to Elohim and to the Lamb. In their mouth was found no lie. They are blameless. Their speech equal their walk. Their walk equal their talk. That's what he said, that you will become that righteous city. When what? When y'all walk shoulder to shoulder in one accord, calling upon one name. I'm going to prove that my name is, I have one name, y'all, one name. And it matters. It matters. Why would he prove it? Why he got to prove to the remnant that he got one name? Because we got a bunch of knucklehead niggas talking about no matter what name you call it, just your heart. That we would not, when he says, I'm going to give you a pure language. to those that are my true supplicants to worship me. That language is not Hebrew, y'all. It's no particular language. It tells you what the language is. To speak truth and sincerity to one another. Isn't that what we practice in here? And if we can't do that, give it up. If y'all gonna walk around in deceitfulness with one another, how could there be a spirit of unity that unifies us? All right, and blameless. We went through what blameless is, what it means to be blameless, tamim, perfect. So, virgin, alma, the root is coming from the root olam, world, ages, everlasting. The principle of everlasting, the olam, is parallel to the everlasting kingdom. So when y'all say I go to prepare a place for you, we know it's Jerusalem, but what's the place? His kingdom. But what is it? His bride. What is it? Our souls. What is it? The image of Elohim that he removed from Adam and he wants to restore back to us. What is it? A piece of Yahweh. Life. Eternal life with him. Malkuto, the word Malkut is feminine. Kingdom is feminine. It's a feminine word. A kingdom is female, feminine. Malkuto le olam, the bride of Yahushua that obtained a crown of glory, which is eternal life, ruling with him. That's the Alma. He's the king, but he said we're going to be kings with him. But if we the bride, then we're really the queens. Every king has a queen. And she wears a crown and she sits with them. They sit together, they hold hands. They rule together, and that's what he promised. And it's everlasting kingdom. And he needs an alma, not a betulah. Not a betulah. He needs an alma. She was called from eternity. Didn't he say that we was called? The elect, the remnant was called from the foundations of the world, from before the world was created. But it's not of this world, olam, but it's from the le-olam, makuto le-olam, wa'ed, until time. The everlasting kingdom, the everlasting bride, the alma. Y'all get it? All right. Let's go into the prophecies. It gives you the prophecies. Micah 5. The ruler of Bethlehem. Starting at verse 1. Now you shall gather yourself in troops. Daughter of troops. Who he talking to? Nope. He's talking to Israel. So when you have a troop, it's an army. So you're an army. And you have separated yourself in clans and troops, daughter of troops. He has laid siege against us. Let's see who he is. He has laid, that is Yahweh, has laid siege against these troops, these gever, these men, these warriors that's forming what? Camps. This is daughter of troops. It ain't the troops back then. It ain't David's troops. It's us now, forming camps, troops. Oh, he's going to lay siege against us. They will strike. Who's the they? The troops of Israel. The warriors of Israel will strike the judge of Israel with a rod on the cheek. What does that mean? That's what we're doing right now. We did it then, but we're doing it right now. All of these camps, that's non-messianic. And speaking evil about him. Changing his words and speaking blasphemy about him. Speaking angrily like he did something to them. Saying he never was, he didn't exist. His mama was a whore, his daddy was Joseph. He came out of the lust of our loins. Saying that he taught against the law, that he broke the law, that he was a violent man, that he is not an honest man. Saying all kind of evil against him. The troops of Israel is doing this. Smiting him on the cheek means blaspheming his name and his words, and speaking evil against the judge of Israel. Who's the judge of Israel? The judge, Yahweh, Yahushua. It's these ones that say that they are messianic, but yet said, no, Joseph with the daddy. He came through the lust of a man's loins. They got freaky deaky. Blasphemy. For these so-called messianic camps that said, we don't believe in the Immaculate Conception. That's Demona and everything that was influenced by Demona. And that's all of these other camps are saying he was just a man. He was the idea of a Mashiach that just lived in his time. He was not Elohim. No, he wasn't. He's not our creator. He's just a child of David. That's how they smite and they judge. They're judging. They will strike the judge of Israel with a rod on his cheek. The rod is rule and word. The word. But you, Bethlehem Ephratah, being small among the clans of Judah, out of you one will come forth to me, that is to be ruler in Israel, who's going forth or coming out. The word is coming from the word Hosea, who's going forth or exiting out. He came out from of old, Mekedem. But the word Mekedem means before time. From the Meme. No, it don't say just from. What does yours read? How does yours read it? Just read that. Somebody read their version. It don't say from the water, the everlasting waters. Y'all see it? There's somebody who's going to come out from of old. Thank you. Right. Yours says from the days of eternity, right? As in Yom. But no, this says Mime. Correct? Y'all can read that, right? Me, what means what? From? What's Yame? The waters. The seas. From Mime Olam. From the everlasting waters. Who's that? Who's that? It ain't Prince David. And it ain't David. It ain't Solomon. And it ain't any man that could be born of one of you nickels today either. Whoever this is, y'all, who's going forth, came from before time, Mekedem, from the everlasting waters. Ain't that what Yahushua said? Oh, he just making up words, right? Where he get that from? He said, I'm the everlasting waters. Therefore, I will deliver up them until the time that she, Israel, the woman who is in labor, gives birth. I just read all the prophecies about giving birth. I'm going through right now. Why do I see every Gever warrior with his hands on his loins, right? Troops, oh, you troops, I'm going to lay a siege against you. I'm going to abandon you because you have strucken the one that come forth from everlasting. You struck him on the cheek. You're still doing it now. You have what? Abandoned him and forsaken him. You put your hands on him. Blood is on your hands. You blasphemed him. But you didn't know that he was the everlasting waters and he came from before the beginning of time. He's the ruler of Israel. But because you do this to him, I'm going to abandon you up and I'm going to give you up and deliver you up until the time of labor. When is the time of labor? The end. So whatever this prophecy is about our behavior towards him, even unto now. Then the remnant of his brothers, Yahushua, the remnant of his brothers will return to or on the children of Israel. Now, when it says return to or on, it means we become now B'nai Israel. We're not B'nai Israel. He shall stand and shall shepherd in the strength of Yahweh. This is the one strength. This is the one shepherd in the majesty of the name of Yahweh. What? He's coming in the name of Yahweh. His Elohim. And in the majesty of his name means in the greatness and the power and the image and in the glory and in the all of it, in the reputation. Right? That's what he said. Why do you condemn me? I do the will of my Father. If my works wasn't of him, then I couldn't say that I was from him. He shall stand and shall shepherd in the strength of Yahweh, in the majesty of the name of Yahweh, his Elohim. And they will dwell, for then he will be great to the ends of the earth. So we can see that there's a point where y'all gonna smite him, obviously, and there's a point where he gonna smite you. Can't be at the same time. But I just read in Isaiah, for the land that you've forsaken, you're gonna be forsaken. You're gonna come to your end. Well, what land did we forsake? Adam, Yahushua, come as Adam. That's why his genealogy points to Adam first, the son of Adam, the son of Elohim. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, go back to my lesson. Is Elohim a man? And he was this peace when Assyria invades our land. What's Assyria? Babylon. Assyria is Babylon. He was this peace. What peace? What peace? That the remnant of his brothers will return on to be the children of Israel. That this is the peace when Assyria invades our land and when he marches through our fortresses. Then he will raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 leaders or princes of men. Why 7 shepherds? What's the 7, y'all? 7 assembly. It's not going to be done a bunch of troops and camps. We're going to have Yah is going to return what Yahushua will restore, 7 assemblies, 8 princesses, princes, 8 men that's going to call Sarim, that's going to be working between, I guess, all these 7 assemblies. And in these 7 assemblies, there will be 1 shepherd that Yah has appointed. A shepherd and a prince. But this is underneath Yahushua. As we can see, these are not those that deny. This is the peace that he left with us when Assyria invades our land. What land would that be? All of the fortresses that we keep claiming is belongs to us. When we set up our communities and our troops, our land is our people, wherever we are. Who's going to raise it? Then we will raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 leaders, princesses of men. They will rule the land of Assyria with the sword and the land of Nimrod in his gates. He will deliver us from the Assyrian when he invades our land and when he marches within our borders. All right. That's Micah. But y'all don't want to believe that? Well, when I hear all the arguments of these slick, non-messianic nickels, right? They never have answers. They can tell you what it's not. And they can tell you what they don't see, but they can't tell you what it is. And then they play these Hebrew word games on you, speaking deep like they know something. And some of them might got some knowledge, but like I said, they stupid. So let's hear the testimony as I read to you 1 or 2 of the prophecies. I could do this all day, y'all, all day. But these intellectual fools. Matthew 1, the testimony of the birth of Yahushua. And we're going to read it plain. You either believe it or you don't. But if you don't believe it, you're not messianic. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Leave the 7 assemblies alone and leave the children of the assemblies alone. The birth of Yahushua. Now, the birth of Yahushua was like this. So after his mother, Mary, was engaged to Joseph, prior, they came together or cohabitate, she was found pregnant out from the Holy Spirit. That's clear, y'all. Like, really? Joseph now, her man, you can say husband, being a righteous man, was not willing to make her a public example, intended to put her away secretly. But when he thought about these things, behold, an angel of Yahweh appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, don't be afraid to take to yourself Mary, your wife. So when he said take to yourself, did he mean sleep with her? No, he means finish the marriage engagement. So though he said, I'm your man, I'm your husband, the marriage engagement didn't take place. He was not married to her yet. That it might be fulfilled, which was she shall bring forth a son, and she shall call his name, and you shall call his name Yahushua. This was the revelation now being first revealed about what the name was. For it is he who shall save his people from their sins. That's what Isaiah talks about. The suffering servant. He's going to take the sins of the people and bear them. And all this has happened that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Yahweh through the prophet, saying, behold, the virgin, the Almah, the chaste virgin, the pure virgin, clean within and without, to the core, holy, undefiled, set aside, and kept just for this. Behold, the virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son. They shall call his name Emmanuel. The power is with us, which is being interpreted, Elohim is with us. Joseph arose from his sleep and did as the angel of Yahweh commanded him, and took his wife to himself. When it says took his wife, what did he do? He covered her through what? Marriage. So it didn't look like Yahushua was a bastard because they couldn't conceive the conception. So he hid it. He hid it. It was to cover her from being killed and spoken evil of. Taking his wife means he married her legally, but he did not, it says, and did not know her further sexually until she had brought forth her firstborn son. And he named him Yahushua. That's the testimony. Hallelujah. You believe it or not? That's the power that I want to serve. Don't talk, y'all that don't believe this. Don't tell me about the Most High, nothing coming out your mouth, because your Most High is limited. Only the Most High could do something like that. Why are you having a hard time believing in the Most High? Luke 1, the birth of Yahushua foretold, and 26. And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent to Elohim until a city of Galilee named Nazareth. The city of Galilee named Nazareth. That is why he is called Yahushua of Nazareth. It's not Nazarene. It is the city by which he was raised in the Galilee. To a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, and the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came in unto her and said, Hail, thou art highly favored. What does that mean? How could somebody be highly favored? She had to be holy, y'all, to find high favor from Yahweh and the grace of Yahweh. She was highly favored. And the Holy Spirit, the Spirit came to her. No, I'm sorry, this was Gabrielle. And told her she was highly favored. You know how righteous you got to be? I don't think I'm highly favored. Yahweh is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Oh, no, there was a lot of virgins, y'all. Of course, there was a lot of virgins. But something about her made her blessed among all women. And when she saw him, she was troubled at the saying and cast in her mind what manner of salutation this should be. And the angel said to her, fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with Elohim, grace. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Yahushua. He shall be great. He shall be called the Son of the Highest. And Yahweh Elohim shall give unto him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever to the ages. And of his kingdom, Malkut, the female, there shall be no end. That's what we just read, right? The Malkuto Le'olam. Does it exist? So they were like, he didn't come. He didn't establish the king. He said, my kingdom is not of this world. I go prepared. I bring it. Y'all wasn't ready to receive it when I came in the flesh. You killed me. Right? That's what we just read in the prophets. I'm just showing you to bear witness to it in the story, but that's what we read. Y'all gonna smack him on the cheek with a rod. Y'all gonna forsake him. And therefore, y'all gonna come to y'all end. Therefore, y'all's gonna come against you with his troops. Therefore, y'all's gonna siege you because you did this to your ruler. What other ruler lived that we did this to? None. And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever to the ages, and of his kingdom there shall be no end. Then said Mary unto the angel, how shall this be, since I know not a man? I have had no understanding of what a man feel like, taste like, touch like, smell like. I have no understanding, knowledge of what it means to be touched, tasted, and everything else by a man. And the angel answered, to know not a man is to know nothing with a man. Know nothing. And the angel answered and said unto her, the Holy Spirit shall come upon thee. What happened? She was what? Endowed with the fullness of the Holy Spirit. She received the Holy Spirit inside. She became the Almah with the light, the lamp, and the oil. And the power of the highest. Oh, you don't believe in the power of the highest? The power of the highest can't do this? Huh? But they always talking about the most high, the most high, the most high. My most high is so powerful that he can bring life without you, oh man. The most lowest. You the lowest. Why, as the most high, do I need you? Why would the most high power need you? But then you said, well, why did he need the woman? No, you needed the woman, stupid. For him to become a kinsman redeemer, he had to take on the blood of human so that he can, what? Redeem you. No, Yahweh didn't need the woman to birth anything for himself. You needed it. So that he can what? Redeem Adam, the earth, the blood man, back to its original blood man image. Watch this. The power of the highest shall overshadow. What does it mean to overshadow? The word is epikase. It's made of two words. I didn't bring it out here. Go check me out if I tell a lie. The first word, epi, means the Shekinah glory, the cloud. But what was in the cloud, y'all? That was what? The Holy Spirit Father, that was the Holy Spirit and Yehoshua, the voice in the cloud, the Shekinah glory, the Shekin, the indwelling where Yah indwelt. And the Kaisei, I don't know if I'm saying this right, is another word for Sem, image. The image of Elohim in the cloud, which was the everlasting waters, which was the Holy Spirit, and the word of Yahushua comes out the cloud, which is the seed. The Holy Spirit indwelt in her. The glory of Yah came upon her. Isn't that what's going to happen? He said, look up now. Look up when the return, right? And see the glory, Shakim, on you. For you have now become the light of the world. Your lamps are shining brighter than the sun. And they will come to you for the light, the word. Therefore, also the holy thing which shall be born of thee. That's the Holy One of Israel. Why is it saying the holy thing? It's the holy word. The word is holy. Which shall be born of thee shall be called the son of Elohim. And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she has also conceived a son in her old age. This wasn't immaculate conception, but it was a miracle nevertheless. The first one is the sign from Yah. This one is a wonder, but that's not the first time that happened. That can't be the wonder that Elizabeth conceived at her old age. Yah did that already. That couldn't be that. And this is the 6th month with her, who was called barren. For with Elohim, nothing shall be impossible. Okay, so no, we know that Yehoshua was not born in no December. He was born around Sukkot. 37, for with Elohim nothing shall be impossible. And Mary said, behold, the handmaid, servant of Yahweh. I am your servant. Be it unto me according to thy word. What impregnated her? And the word went out and accomplished, and it created, made, chose, as it did, just like he did Adam. Why y'all having a hard time believe that this is possible, but it's inconceivable to you? And the angel departed from her. Luke 2, Luke 2, verse 1, the birth of Yahushua. Now it happened in those days that a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be enrolled, censored. This was the first enrollment made with Quirinius, was governor of Syria. You see, Syria is involved. All went to enroll themselves, everyone to his own city. Joseph also went up from Galilee. It's not where he was originally from, out of the city of Nazareth into Judea to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house of the family of David, to enroll himself with Mary, who was pledged to be married or betrothed to him as wife, being pregnant. It happened while they were there that the day had come that she gave birth. She brought forth her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in the bands of cloth and laid him in the feeding trough or the crib, because there was no room for them in the inn. 8, there were shepherds in the same country, staying in the fields and keeping watch by night over their flock. Behold, an angel of Yahweh stood by them, and the glory of Yahweh shone around them, and they were terrified. The angel said to them, don't be afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy, which will be to all the people. For there is born to you this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Messiah, the sovereign. This is the sign to you. This is the sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in stripes of cloth, lying in a feeding trough. Suddenly, there was with the angel a multitude of a heavenly army praising Elohim and saying, Glory to Elohim in the highest. On the earth, peace, goodwill towards men. And it happened when the angels went away from them into the sky, that the shepherds said one to another, let's go to Bethlehem now and see. And it happened when the angels went away from them into the sky, the shepherds said one to another, let's go to Bethlehem now and see this thing that has happened, which Yahweh has made known to us. They came with haste and found both Mary and Joseph, and the baby was lying in the feeding trough. When they saw it, they publicized widely that the saying which was spoken to them of this child. Y'all didn't leave it without a witness, even two. All who heard it wondered at the things which were spoken to them by the shepherd. But Mary kept all these sayings pondering in her heart. Mary could not testify of what happened to her. Neither could Joseph, because he was there to cover her. It had to come from an outside revelation about Yahushua. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising Elohim for all the things that they had heard and seen, just as was told them. When 8 days were fulfilled for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Yahushua, which was given by the angel before he was conceived in the womb. Then when the days of the purification according to the law of Moses was fulfilled, they brought him up to Jerusalem to present him to Yahweh. As it is written in the law of Yahweh, every male who opens the womb shall be called holy to Yahweh, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of Yahweh, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. They were poor. Behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simon. This man was righteous and devout, looking for the consolation of Israel. And the Holy Spirit was on him. And it had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen Yahweh's Messiah. He came in the spirit into the temple when the parents brought into that child, Yahushua, that they might do concerning him according to the custom of the law. Then he received him in his arms and blessed Elohim and said, now you are releasing your servant, master, according to your word in peace. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you have prepared before the face of all the peoples. A body you have prepared, a light for revelation to the nations, and a glory of the people of Israel. See the distinction? We become a light to them, but he's the glory inside of us. Joseph and his mother were marveling. Why they never called Joseph daddy? They only referred to her as mommy. Joseph and his mother were marveling at the things which were spoken concerning him. And Simeon blessed them and said to Mary, why not to Joseph? His mother, behold, this child is set for the falling and the rising of many in Israel, and for a sign which is spoken against them. That's what we just read in the prophecies, right? He understood. So why y'all nigga brews talking about y'all Old Testament only? You got the Holy Spirit, can't see what the prophecy just said concerning this one. I'm going to say it again. He didn't deliver. Why you mad, David? Why you mad, Zion Lex? Why y'all mad? Why you mad, Demona? Why you mad, Nuria? Why y'all mad? Why all y'all non-messianic, non-believing? Why y'all mad? He didn't deliver Israel. In fact, it got worse after he came. It got worse. He didn't deliver us. He didn't keep the promise of the prophecies. He's not, what? I just read in both prophecies, whoever this ruler is, whoever this one is from everlasting, whoever that is, because you smoked him on the cheek, because you forsaken him, because you denied him, because you dealing with him like just some beast. Behold, this child is set. Where did he get this prophecy from? From what I just read. Behold, this child is set for the fallen and the rising of many in Israel, and for a sign which is spoken against them. Yes, a sword will pierce through your own soul, that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. The truth of how to see what I'm saying? That's right. The sword is the word of Yah. And because they don't like the idea of him, they don't like the power of him, they don't like the judgment of him, they don't like the walk of him, celibacy, they don't like the teachings of him, they don't like the perfection of him, they don't like him, they don't like his sword. So he's going to pierce through their souls. That the thoughts of many hearts is going to be revealed, and they are. They are being revealed what they really think and who they really trust and who they really believe. They're being revealed. And there was one, Anna, a prophetess, a daughter of Phanuel, and the tribe of Asher. She was of a great age, having lived with her husband 7 years from her virginity. And she had been a widow for about 84 years, who didn't depart from the temple. She was quite old, worshiping with fasting and petitions night and day. Coming up at that very hour, she gave thanks to Yahweh and spoke of him to all those who's of him, the son. She was a prophet, she already knew. And spoke of him to all who were looking for redemption in Jerusalem. And on that front, y'all, I'm going to read it again. I'm going to read it again. And adding more. And to the gathered, and to those that he will gather, the Yosef. Yahweh spake unto Aha, saying, ask of yourself a sign from within or with or together with Yahweh your Elohim. Ask of the depth and ask of the height. But Ahaz says, I will not ask, neither will I tempt or test Yahweh about his great power. For me to ask you is to think that there's nothing you can't do, and I'm going to ask you something that I think is impossible. And he said, hear y'all, O house of David, all you kings, from the smallest to the littlest, from y'all of the wearying. You have wearied and exhausted the people. But because y'all were weary also, the almighty power, y'all, because you are going to weary the almighty power, therefore, now this was a question statement, because we got a therefore, meaning y'all gonna do it. He's not asking, he's saying, y'all gonna do this to me too? Okay, so since y'all gonna weary me out too, because wearing out the people is wearing me out, therefore, will I give Elohim himself? Will I give Elohim himself shall give you all a sign. Behold, an almah, a chaste, clean, pure, untainted, holy, undefiled virgin that has not known you, O man, shall conceive, become pregnant, and birth a son, and you shall call him. The power is with us. Almah versus Betulah. I believe. Do you? And anybody come with another doctrine, another testimony, another Messiah, another spirit, smack them in the face and cut them with 2 swords and chop off their neck. And all of these people that want to go on, and trust me, I can do this with everything that they call themselves, picking apart the prophecies as if they prophets and Yah revealed something to them just because they can read Hebrew. They know nothing. I'm going to say again, the most high power don't need your why, because he's the why. Selah. Yom Tov. Have a good week and a good Shabbat to the elect and the remnant. Amen.